Tensions in the West Philippine Sea are rising at a dangerous pace. Beijing's increasing assertiveness has sent ripples of unease through the region, and Washington is stepping in alongside Manila to fortify Philippine defenses. Together, the two allies are weaving a powerful joint strategy, expanding existing military installations while constructing entirely new ones to enable seamless, combined operations. This far-reaching plan doesn't stop with bases. It stretches across the Philippine archipelago, including the development of fresh airports and seaports positioned strategically near the contested waters of the West Philippine Sea and the Taiwan Strait. Among the most significant projects is the revival of Subic Bay Freeport. Just 50 miles northwest of Manila, this deep-water harbor once served as the home of the U.S. 7th Fleet until 1992. Now its return to prominence is unfolding at a dramatic pace. The Philippine Air Force is establishing a forward operating hub at Subic, a site designed to accommodate maritime patrol aircraft, combat-ready fighter jets, missile storage facilities, and an enormous hangar for next-generation surveillance platforms. This transformation gives the Philippine military the capacity to respond almost instantly to developments across the South China Sea, while simultaneously countering Beijing's widening influence. Subic Bay is fast becoming a nerve center of aerial surveillance and regional force projection, reviving the legacy of the old American Naval Air Station. After the U.S. withdrawal in the 1990s, Subic became an international airport, but now activity has surged once more. American and Philippine forces utilize the site to refuel, resupply, and repair vessels, proof that the alliance is alive and visibly flexing. Manila's renewed commitment to strengthening national defense is unmistakable. The expanded infrastructure at Subic delivers a bold message. The U.S.-Philippine partnership is strong and enduring. In 2022, Manila inaugurated the Subic Naval Operating Base, strategically located near the South China Sea and just miles from Scarborough Shoal. This 100-hectare complex, formerly the Hanjin Shipyard and now controlled by American firm Cerberus, has quickly become the crown jewel of the Philippine Navy. Its significance? It is the only facility in the country capable of docking the largest vessels in the U.S. fleet, and this is only the beginning. Subic Bay International Airport itself is being reshaped into a crucial launch pad for combined land, sea, and air missions. Under the Philippine military's basing blueprint, it will support operations both inside national territory and deep into Manila's exclusive economic zone. Air Force planning documents already envision the runway hosting surface attack aircraft, a capability that would extend striking power across both land and sea campaigns. But Subic is not the only project underway. On Pagasa Island, known internationally as Thitu Island, the Philippines is extending its runway, a project confirmed by the President's Communications Office. Once complete, this expansion secures a lifeline for troops and civilians who live there, solidifying Manila's presence in the heart of the South China Sea. More than a military project, it represents survival and permanence. Pagasa is the largest Philippine-controlled island in the Spratlys, home to nearly 200 Filipinos. Declared a municipality of Palawan in 1978, it remains one of the clearest markers of Philippine sovereignty. The island's strategic value is immense. It lies more than 285 nautical miles off Palawan, well inside the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. Yet it also sits within an area aggressively claimed by Beijing. The upgrades at Pagasa are both defensive and symbolic, a declaration that Manila is not backing down. Beyond Pagasa, the Philippines holds 8 other features across the South China Sea, including the Second Thomas Shoal, locally known as Ayungin. Each represents a foothold in contested waters, each reinforcing the Philippine claim. Momentum is also building around another key project, a military runway on Balabac Island at the southern tip of Palawan, a site of immense geopolitical value. Part of the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA, signed in 2014, the Balabac project underscores Manila and Washington's deepening collaboration. At its core is a 3-kilometer runway, developed under the Department of Public Works and Highways Building Infrastructure for Peace and Security Initiative. Designed to handle both military and civilian aircraft, this strip will not only strengthen defense but also fuel the local economy, enhance transport links, and potentially attract tourism. Construction is now nearing completion, about 90% done, thanks to close coordination between the Department of National Defense and the Department of Public Works. Once finished, it will serve dual functions, welcoming military aircraft alongside civilian flights. Balabac's location is unmatched. Positioned at the country's westernmost edge, separated from Malaysia's Sabah by the narrow Balabac Strait, the island lies close to China's militarized outposts in the South China Sea. Just 140 nautical miles away sits Mischief Reef, a former submerged feature Beijing seized in 1995 and built into a massive military complex. Balabac falls squarely inside the Philippines' 370-kilometer exclusive economic zone, already hosting a critical naval station. It has become a prime focus of EDCA cooperation. Meanwhile, in central Luzon, another EDCA site, Basa Air Base, is undergoing an extensive U.S.-funded overhaul. Washington has allocated $32 million to expand and modernize its facilities as part of the Pacific Deterrence Initiative, America's broad strategy to counter Chinese influence in the Indo-Pacific. Basa Air Base has a storied past, dating back before World War II. It has been used by both American and Japanese forces and for decades served as home to the Philippine Air Force's fighter squadrons. Today it stands at the center of joint operations under EDCA. One of the base's most pressing challenges has been limited aircraft parking. To address this, plans now include the construction of a 625,000 square foot parking apron, large enough for 20 aircraft. The upgrades are designed not just to modernize infrastructure, but also to prepare Philippine forces for intensive joint training with their U.S. counterparts. Basa is home to the Philippine Air Force's only fighter squadron, 12 Korean-made FA-50PH Fighting Eagles. These jets are the backbone of Manila's aerial defense and regularly fly side by side with American pilots. As tensions intensify, Basa's role as a hub of cooperation has never been more vital. But the Philippines' defense strategy extends even further north, to the Batanes Islands, the nation's northernmost frontier. Defense officials recently announced new infrastructure upgrades here, including deep water ports and crisis response facilities, funded in part by Washington. The geography is critical. Batanes lies just 125 miles from Taiwan, placing it within striking distance of any future confrontation. The Bashi Channel, which separates Batanes from Taiwan, is more than a waterway. It is one of the Indo-Pacific's most vital shipping lanes, connecting the Western Pacific to the South China Sea. It also hosts undersea fiber optic cables that power the digital age. In October 2023, the Philippine Navy established a new outpost on Mavalis Island, Batanes. Soon after, Philippine and American forces began joint patrols from the island, extending their operational reach directly into the South China Sea. Analysts have also pointed to Fuga Island in Cagayan as another emerging strategic site, potentially serving as a southern flank against Beijing in the event of a Taiwan conflict. The stakes are enormous. Chinese naval forces routinely conduct drills through these waters, seeking to intimidate Taiwan. In any crisis, the Luzon Strait and Bashi Channel would become pivotal. That reality transforms Batanes from a remote outpost into a frontline stronghold. With expanded U.S. access to bases across Luzon and Batanes, the Philippines is positioning itself as a key player in both South China Sea and Taiwan contingencies. The islands of Batanes, once overlooked, are now seen as springboards for deterrence, vital links in the so-called First Island Chain, the natural barrier against unchecked expansion from the Asian mainland. Under the Mutual Defense Treaty, Washington's increased access reinforces the Philippines' standing as a cornerstone ally in the Pacific. This partnership strengthens U.S. force projection across the region and places Manila firmly at the center of Asia's unfolding strategic drama. Among America's Pacific allies, the Philippines and Japan stand closest to Taiwan. On the Philippines' northernmost island, Itbayat, Taiwan, lies just 93 miles away. The proximity highlights Manila's emerging frontline role in maintaining stability. Through EDCA, mutual training, and expanding infrastructure, the Philippines is no longer just defending its borders. It is anchoring the broader Indo-Pacific strategy, shaping security at a moment when tensions with Beijing continue to climb.